Hello, friends. I'm so excited. Today is the 200th episode of the Healthy Beyond 40 podcast. I'm so excited that I've had this opportunity to just share what I'm passionate about with you guys and encourage you along your journey. And just a quick little way to say thank you for being part of this journey. I'm giving away 3 free 1-month memberships to my Healthy for Life membership. This will take a quick 30 seconds. All you have to do is share the podcast with a friend on the honor system. And then in the description down below, there's going to be a link for a quick Google form to just have your email address and to say that you shared it. So that way I can contact you if you are one of the winners. And inside this membership, you're going to see a ton of different workouts. You're going to see different courses for mindset and for nutrition. So everything is all in one so you can finally start to feel good. So this will close on September 28th, and I will announce the winners by email. So thank you guys for listening and sharing and helping me get to 200 episodes. And today on this episode, I'm going to take a couple commonly asked questions that I get and then answer those. So we're going to be talking about things like consistency and why do I keep losing the same pounds over and over again. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama of 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. All right, so let's get started. So the first question I get is, why do I keep losing the same few pounds over and over again? Sort of that yo-yoing thing. And so common things that I see is people not maintaining the consistency on the weekends. So maybe they are off their schedule, maybe they're traveling, whatever it is, they're not doing the same thing on the weekends. And maybe that weight comes back on and then they get strict during the week again and it goes off. And it just feels like this yo-yoing and it doesn't feel good. Also, some people have a hard time maintaining consistency throughout the day. So maybe they start really good with breakfast and lunch, and then dinner sort of slides off, and then there's this nighttime snacking. And another thing I see is really people trying things that they can't stick to. So whenever I have someone starting a habit, for the most part, there may be some exceptions, we're only going to do a habit or try something as long as we can stick to it. Unless for some reason there's an exception that we're like short term doing something. But that's usually not common because it doesn't lead to sustainable weight loss. So really making sure in the first place you're starting with something that you can continue. Another thing is some people haven't worked through the emotional or the habitual things that are going on. So then there's sort of this yo-yo of being strict, but then there's this emotional thing I'm ignoring that keeps popping up. It makes me eat more food. And we're not tackling what the problem really is. So some quick fixes for this. And again, it's different for everybody, but I'm going to throw out some common ones. Is making sure you're starting with sustainable habits that you can continue. 2, sort of what I was just talking about, figure out what is going on emotionally and or habitually, like you just have this habit. And what are those mindset shifts that you need to break free from those? And a lot of people, some people will notice like really big emotional triggers. But a lot of people aren't very aware of these like more subtle emotional triggers that are causing them to eat. So there can be subtle emotional triggers going on that are so helpful if you can work through and have those mindset shifts. I also think another helpful thing is focusing on the health markers and not just like the scale or the size of clothing you are. It's really getting down to that why you're doing this. And it has to be more than weighing a certain amount of weight. Because like the weight literally doesn't matter. For all you people listening, there's probably someone who has a goal to be 150 pounds. There's someone who has a goal to be 200 pounds. Someone has a goal to be 130 pounds. Like the number literally doesn't matter. But what matters is the health inside of your body. So when we can start connecting what we're eating to how that makes us feel on the inside and how our body functions on the inside, then we have this bigger picture. I'm not just doing this to be a certain size or do this. I'm really doing this to be healthy and to feel good. And for some people, the fix is also getting support. Sometimes we've tried all these things on our own and we just keep waiting and waiting to get support. But a lot of times, if we can have someone sort of look and see what's going on, help us when we get to those bumps in the road, instead of those being setbacks, that we work through those bumps and we can go past it, can really be huge when you actually reach out to get support. All right, another question I get is, what does it look like to maintain consistency if the scale isn't moving? And so this really goes back to that mindset and that deeper why I was talking about. Like, can we connect this to why we're doing this regardless of the number on the scale? Because when we can connect it to that, we're going to keep going and actually maintain more consistency than we think we are. So go back to that why. Go back to why do you really want this? And moving that success away from the scale or the clothing size and to that true why. And if you don't know what that true why is, you have to keep digging. I also think it helps to just go back to these daily habits. Like, I am just going to do these daily habits I've set up. Maybe that is eat a healthy breakfast. Maybe that's go for a walk each day, drink enough water, have protein at each meal, have some non-starchy vegetables at lunch and dinner, whatever that is. Go back to those daily habits. And are you committed to them? If you're having a hard time committing to one, why is that? And work through that. Because a lot of times we sort of know why the scale isn't moving. Now, sometimes people may have a hormonal or metabolic thing going on. But even if they have that, like, focusing on your daily habits and being healthy is going to help instead of doing the yo-yo or falling off your healthy habits. And really think about that mindset you have when the scale isn't moving. Maybe you're just at a little plateau, or maybe you're not really as consistent as you think you are. But that mindset, I want to be healthy. I want to have energy. I want to move well. I want to play with my kids or my grandkids. And telling yourself that this is important to me. I can maintain my daily habits. I can tweak them if I need to. All right, the next question is, how do I wake up feeling motivated when I'm tired and overwhelmed? And the first thing I always ask people when they mention tired is, are you getting enough sleep? And it's interesting because the last few people I've talked to, they're not getting enough sleep and they're wondering why they're tired. So we have to start there. Like, we have to give our bodies enough sleep, and that's going to be different for everybody. Like, I'm someone who needs a little bit more sleep. There might be someone who needs a little less or even more than me. So it's a little individualized, but we need to make sure we're getting enough sleep so that we feel good in the first place. And if you're not doing that, what do you need to do to get to bed on time? Because that's usually where the problem comes, because people feel like they have so much to do and they don't have enough time to do it, so they will sacrifice their sleep. So something has got to give. And to me, it's not going to be sleep. Something else you need to say no to. And maybe that may be actual practical things. Maybe it's like scrolling, or like the kids are in bed. I have this like relief time. But maybe you need to wind yourself down and go to bed instead. Maybe you need to work in more slow time or downtime, whatever that is. So figure out a way where you can get to bed on time. And really look at what you need to do, and anything you don't really need to in this season of life, let go. And I just recently did this. I kept feeling like my schedule is so busy. So I have 4 kids. My oldest is off in college, but my 3 youngest, I am homeschooling, and I run this business, obviously take care of the house and do all that other mom stuff too. But I kept feeling like, oh man, like it's just so busy. Like, what is going on? And I journaled and I prayed, and then I went out for a walk, and all of a sudden it clicked on me. Oh, last year for homeschooling, we pretty much stayed at home, especially once we moved. They weren't involved in things where I had to drive them. And this year they are doing different classes. So 3 different days, because they're going on different days. I'm driving them to that. And then my 2 older boys are also doing basketball. So that is in the morning. And my younger one is also doing a homeschool PE class. So I have to go there and sit for that. So when I added all this time up, it's 7 hours a week. So I'm like, wow. But literally it took me a couple hours to like piece that together. Wow, that's like 7 hours. I was at home before where I could be doing coaching calls or do these other things where I'm not feeling so overwhelmed. Like it was a total blind spot to me. So what I did is I did pause my free coaching calls momentarily just to have a little bit of relief and not worry about it. And then I have changed my hours that I have free calls in my coaching schedule, and it is a little less time. But that's what I need because I have this other area that's taking up more time. And I need to balance it and I need to feel good. And I still need downtime. I still need time to relax so that I can feel good and that I'm in a good place mentally and I can take care of myself and I have time to make meals and do all the things. And for me, being a mom and homeschooling my kids is one of those top priorities. It does not come above my health or taking care of me. And I still am happy that I can be in a place where I get to do this podcast and I get to do coaching calls and personal training, and I can still have a time to do that other stuff I enjoy. But we have to think of what our priorities are. So maybe is there something on your plate you can let go of even though you don't want to? Like I had a lot of resistance in working less. But once I sort of made that decision, I was able to see how much more time that was and that this is a season. It may not always stay like that. It's okay. I don't have to do it all. Okay, next question is how can I stay consistent with workouts and healthy habits on days I do not feel like it, right? We all have those like, I don't want to get up and work out. I don't want to meal plan or go to the grocery store or prep. So what can we do? One big thing I like to work on clients with is to helping them pre-decide. So that means deciding ahead of time what you're going to do and being like 100% committed to sticking with that. So that might be, I'm going to get up every morning and do my workout or go for my walk first thing. And you pre-decide and you sort of work out all those excuses that are coming to your mind and you get 100% committed to it and you just do it. So you don't even have to think. The decision is already made. And sometimes that takes some coaching and to work through to get to that point where you can feel 100% committed to something. And I also think it helps to find what is an acceptable excuse. So especially if you're pre-deciding or you're committing to anything, what would be an acceptable excuse? So maybe that is like, I am sick or whatever that is. Think of what an acceptable excuse would be so that you're not negotiating with yourself in the minute. I also think, especially when it comes to workouts, and I can even say this for a meal planning or something like that, is making it fun. So maybe that is putting on music, listening to a podcast. Maybe if it's a walk or workout, you are going with another person. And especially when it comes to workout, think like, what do you enjoy more? Sometimes as I do personal training inside of my app, I will have people start with strength training yoga. Like I always ask them and they want to try both. And then maybe I notice that they're like skipping the yoga workouts or something. And when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, I just don't like that as much. And they're not drawn to it. So like take those things out that you don't enjoy and put more of those things in that you do enjoy so that you do feel a little more motivated to do that workout. And when it comes to mindset with this, what are you going to think when you have that feeling like, oh, I don't want to do this? So sometimes I still feel this way with meal planning. It feels like such a chore. It really does not take that long, but especially like if I want to do a good job, I actually look at the food we have and see like, what do we need to use as I'm making the meal plan? That doesn't always happen, but it feels like a chore, but it really doesn't take that long for me to write a quick meal plan. I have my master meal list, so I know different meals I can make. I sort of look at our schedule so I know what night we need an easier meal, or now I have my 13 and 14-year-old helping cook meals on different nights, so I see what they have going on when they can sort of help cook a meal. And I just write it and I make the grocery list and it's fine. You know, it might take me 10 minutes. But if I do that, it is so much better. So what will I think in those moments when I feel that resistance that I don't want to do this thing that I know is going to make a big difference? So you have to come up with that thought and you have to repeat that thought so it's more ingrained in your brain, right? Because that first thought of, oh, this is such work, I don't want to do this, is going to come up first. You can't choose it, but you have to have that second thought to go to. So I really like a lot of these different questions. There's definitely a mindset piece to all of them. And that's something that is in my course. The self-coaching system is how to work on these mindset pieces and change your thoughts and strengthen those thoughts so that in the moment you can make the decisions that are more in alignment with what you want. And that course is included in my membership. All right, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you enter in the giveaway so you can get a month free membership to my Healthy for Life that has workouts and all the courses that I have inside of it. All right, friends, so share this podcast with a friend and keep on moving.